What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a Dose of Magic Live, the show about all things Walt Disney World Resort. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Brett.
And we are back for another week. We have a lot of great things on the agenda tonight. We're playing some Disney Jeopardy a little bit later. We're hearing about Brett's recent Disneyland honeymoon trip. And we are also talking about some more outrageous Disney news stories that came across over the last few days. So sit tight, enjoy, participate with us. But before we get into that, of course, we have a little bit of housekeeping to get into. Brett, you want to tell them a little bit?
Yeah. So as Ryan mentioned, a little bit of housekeeping. This is, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Brett. That is Ryan. We are brothers from the Philadelphia area. I started this podcast like 3 years ago, starting a new segment here with the live. So this is our second live ever. And we're super excited about it. So if you want to see more of our content, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and a Dose of Magic podcast on all of your favorite platforms. And if you're missing this live now, be sure to check it out on YouTube tomorrow.
That's right. And we also want to throw a question out right away to the audience. So anybody who's out there watching with us, when is your next Disney trip? I know Brett just went to Disneyland on his honeymoon. I am heading down this week on the 16th and the 17th down to Disney World. So if anybody is going to be down there on those days, happy to meet up, happy to chat and say hello. But when is your next trip? Let us know. And in the meantime, Brett, welcome back, dude. How does it feel to be back? I think you got back this morning. Isn't that correct?
Yes, we touched down in Philadelphia at 8:05, and we were at work and in the office by 8:45. So went straight back to work today. But it feels good to be home. You know, when you're gone for a long time, we did 2 days at Disneyland, and then we left on a cruise down to Mexico for 5 days. So we've been gone for probably pretty close to 8 days. And once you're gone pretty long, it feels good to be back home. It felt good to walk through our front door and be like, we're sleeping in our own bed tonight. So yeah, super excited to be back. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's great to have you back. I cannot believe that you went from the airport right to work and then you're doing this now. You must be running on empty, on absolute fumes.
Running on pure happiness and pixie dust, baby.
That's awesome. Well, we are super excited to have you. What, as if you're a guest.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, my name is Brett.
But how did Disneyland compare? I mean, we are a Walt Disney World show primarily, and we've up until this point have never been to Disneyland. So, Brett, now having been there, what are your initial impressions? What do you think?
Yeah. So, first impression: one, castle, small, lame. Yeah. No, you could really tell like they tried a lot at Disneyland, and then they were like, "This works. Like, let's." Scale it up and let's perfect it over at Walt Disney World. So it was really cool in that sense. There's also a ton of opposites, right? So I was talking about like Space Mountain over in Disneyland. That's a 6-person cart, 2 rows of 3 attached. So there's 12 people per coaster for Space Mountain, which is like a lot compared to Walt Disney World, where it's a 3-seater in a straight line. But then something like Galaxy's Edge is almost identical in the footprint to we walked at Galaxy's Edge as if we've been there before because it is literally identical. So there's a lot of things that are different and a lot of things that are the same. I can see why some rides didn't come across the pond or across the country, like Matterhorn. We think Dinosaur gives you a headache. Matterhorn gave me scoliosis, I'm pretty sure. My back hasn't recovered from that ride yet. And I'm so happy that it never came over to the Walt Disney World parks.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very cool comparison. I took ample notes, so we could definitely go into some more heavy details, but very cool to see. We were fortunate enough to catch some of the holiday layovers that were there. So Haunted Mansion had the Nightmare Before Christmas layover, which was awesome, especially for someone who literally loves Nightmare Before Christmas and the Haunted Mansion. So perfect like layover and combination for me to see. So I loved that layover, and I think I would love if that's actually a permanent layover. I think they
Wow.
did very
Pretty
well
cool.
with it. So yeah, there was a lot there that was very cool, very comparable, but then polar opposites. So I'm
Yeah.
rambling. Characters in Disneyland have no character attendance. Like they
Yeah.
are just walking around. Like we were just eating a pretzel and Peter Pan came up to us and like put a leaf in our ear, tickled our ear and ran away. And like not a single character attendant in sight. And then like we walk some more and here comes like Cinderella just walking hand in hand with two girls just like around the park. Like there was
Free
they
roam?
must have the free roam. All the characters free roam. The only one that we saw that had a true meet and greet was Mickey.
Interesting.
Everybody else is pretty much free roam. Or like a character would be like walking and then they would stop and then a line would form where they're at. Like
Interesting.
that would be the background for there, and then they would carry on and move a little bit more. So like we saw Mickey in like 2 or 3 different places outside of his meet and greet because like he's just walking and then would just stop and just like form a line. So very cool in that aspect.
Yeah.
It felt like you don't know who you're gonna see, which was kind of an element of surprise. You would see like a crowd and you'd be like, oh my gosh, like who is that? Like who is that?
Yeah.
So it was very cool in that sense.
I like that a lot. What about something that we don't have? What did you think of the Marvel land and the Marvel world?
Yeah, very cool. Land. I think if they had more land, so I think the biggest thing in Disneyland, they don't have land, right? They are literally your drop-off point to get into the park is a highway. And
That's
then you
so
walk through
weird. That
gates.
is so
It's so
bizarre
weird.
of like a concept to me.
But as soon as you walk through the gates, you don't even realize it. But I think if Marvel Land had like more space, I think they could do so much more. But I think with the space that they had, they did it really well. So their Guardians ride was the previous Tower of Terror, which you could tell from the outside, right? Like they just threw up some metal piping, gave it a different facade.
Yeah.
But the ride totally caught me off guard. Like I was expecting to load
Very
in,
different.
go up, right? You know how you go up, see some storyline, go up a little bit more, see some storyline. No, immediate launch off from the bottom to 8 floors
I
up.
like that.
Like, yeah. So completely wasn't ready for it, right? So somebody who like has been there, I was like, oh, I know this ride. I don't,
Yeah.
right? So that was very cool. And then their web slinger in Avengers, basically like you're in a cart and motion sensors, and it's like you have to do this. But every time you do that, like a line on the screen shoots a web. So they like track your body in the cart, and you basically are Spider-Man fighting little spider robots.
Was it accurate? Like, did
Yeah,
you feel like it
very
was
accurate.
pretty like close to where you were shooting?
Yeah, like if I wanted to hit a barrel, man,
Yeah.
barrel. So it was very,
Cool.
very accurate, very cool, but was not prepared for it. By the end, our arms were like out of our sockets. So
Yeah. Yeah. You go a little bit too hard. That is
yeah.
awesome. Well, just jumping into the comments really quickly. I know we had asked
Mhm.
earlier where
Yes.
people or when people are going to Disney next. We do have Jessica coming in from Scotland right now. She went back in September, but it'll be a while before she goes back, but
Very
that is
nice.
okay. Hopefully you can get a little bit of a dose of magic from us each and every week until you get back. And Ryan is asking, how does the drop feel since it's humor based versus scared? And this is referring to that Guardians drop tower, Brett. That's a great question, actually. Does it feel less scary and more funny? Like, what is it like?
It's actually a really great question, Ryan. I feel like it was I don't even know how to answer that question because it's like very different. I think we knew it was humor going into it via the pre-show. So I don't think we came into that anticipation like, oh my gosh, like what's happening next? I think we knew like we were gonna get some drops. So I think in that sense, like we weren't scared of a drop. But they're more electric. So the thing is like this was like basically a retheme. So the drops to me didn't really feel like they had a point in the story.
That was my follow-up question was, did it feel like they were story-based drops and when they dropped, or was it just kind of like random?
Yeah, it would be like you would be like we got launched, and then you would drop, and then you would drop, and then you'd stop at a screen, and it'd be like all the Guardians, and they'd be like, "Oh, we gotta get the alien," and then you drop, and like I don't know for Tower of Terror, like you got struck by lightning, and there's a reason why your elevator shaft is now like not functioning properly. But this
Yeah,
I felt like it was just an overlay, but a permanent one. So
interesting.
yeah.
Very interesting. A quick follow-up question from Jessica coming in. Did you hear, Brett, when you were over there, that Disneyland is getting the Fantasmic show back minus Murphy Maleficent? Did you hear that in the rumblings over there?
We did hear a little bit phantasmic rumbling. Nothing coming back until 2024. Spring of 2024 is what we heard just through the grapevine and through some signage.
Nice.
Didn't hear anything about Murphy, but I'm going to take your word, Jessica, that you probably did more research than I did. To be honest, and this is probably like a red flag, we didn't do the fireworks show at Disneyland. We were there for about 14 hours, and we were like, a firework is a firework.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we did, however, do World of Color, the fountain show at Disney California Adventure.
Hmm.
Fantastic show, and I don't want to ever hear the Animal Kingdom has nothing to do with their pond. And don't ever put kites there, because this was the perfect thing to do with an open body of water.
That's
So
awesome. That's good to hear. This will
yeah,
be my last question for you because I do want to keep going. But
yeah.
did you feel like the one park was better than the other? Because they have the two parks over there and a little bit of a different feel for both, right?
Yeah, definitely a different feel. I think I think California Adventure to me screamed like Hollywood Studios almost. Like
Hmm.
theming for lands was phenomenal. Every little detail was thought out, down to the bench, down to the walkway, down to the lighting. So to me, that was like you could tell that they learned from a space where like themed lands is where you want to be. So those lands are very themed over there, very different, um, iconic lands.
Yeah,
Like their Radiator Springs is literally as if you walked into the movie, like down to a T.
that is
Um,
awesome.
but Disneyland would be opposite in the sense like you walk right next door from Haunted Mansion and you're in Pirates, and then right next door is Indiana Jones. And there's not really a theme in that in those lands. So I would say that you could definitely feel the difference. Yeah, very tight, very small. Um, any queue at Disneyland is basically outside. And as soon as you get to the ride building, you're on the ride. So there's not
Love
like
it.
interior queues. So once you basically got into the ride, you were like, oh, we're on. Rather than at Disney World, you know how interior queues go.
Yeah,
You're like, how
yeah,
many rooms are in this labyrinth? So
right. Right, right. And actually, we'll talk about some of the cues and the issues with cues in our news stories this week.
yes.
But that is awesome, dude. That's such a good analysis. That was a great feedback, from somebody who's experiencing it for the first time and really only has ever known Walt Disney World. So
Yeah.
that's awesome that you got to experience it. And I can't wait to hear, more about it offline.
Yeah, very cool.
That's awesome. Well, we do want to jump into some news because we do have some good stuff this week. First being that the Muppets 3D, Muppet Vision 3D has been refurbished and is getting refurbished. And this is one where I saw the headline, and actually I'll show it to you guys really quick. I saw this headline, and this is what it looked like. It says Muppets Theater seating is replaced or being replaced in the latest of several upgrades to the classic Muppet Vision 3D at Disney Hollywood Studios. Now, I have one quick question for everyone, and it's mainly at Disney, but it could be for you, it could be for everyone listening. I'm actually going to put myself right in the camera just so that you understand this. Why? You know? Why? Why are we refurbishing this? Why? This is not an attraction that needs really any attention. Uh, and actually, you know what? Let's look at what the old theater was because this looks like the same old theater. Muppet 3D theater. Look at this.
Here we go. Let's take a peek.
Oh,
Oh.
oh. Actually, you know what? That does look a lot better.
Dude, those had roaches living in those.
Oh, we were sitting on that? Oh, okay.
Ew.
Well, I guess the
Wait.
building has been there and the attraction has been there since like
Ew.
1675. So it is time for, I guess, a new one. The new seats do look good in hindsight with that. But that's just my question is, why are we putting a lot of or any really effort or thing into this? Maybe there are some diehard Muppet fans out there, but Muppets to me is just kind of like I don't want to say dying thing, but it just hasn't really been in the mainstream for a while. It's more nostalgic than anything. And for me personally, I feel like it might be time to do away with puppets in society just in general. I feel like we've moved on from that, and so we will see what people are planning to do with that. So we'll
Yeah,
see. Just wanted to show that really quickly for everyone.
it's funny.
But what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
You know where I stand with Muppets 3D. If anybody's new here, we don't stand with it, basically. It is a waste of space. That money that was probably put into those seats could be well used somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't really care for it, but like you said, I think it's appealing to the older nostalgic factor of things.
Exactly. But until then, it's time. It's almost time for something new. Jessica, can they replace the Waldo? Replace Waldo while they're at it? And then Rye is saying that the only good thing about Muppets in Disney World is Pizza Rizzo, and he is not wrong. That is a delicious place to be. So that is a good point. Keep that. We'll keep that, but maybe we can use this building for something else.
Right.
Just in hindsight.
That's funny.
The other thing is that Disney's Firework, the Luminous show, is doing some testing. So we're very excited to, see what is happening with that. And they actually did release a quick video of the firework testing, as well as some of the songs that will be in it. And so this is pretty interesting. So here's the song list for you. I See the Light from Tangled.
I'm in.
Banger. Right out of the gate, I'm in. You've Got a Friend in Me, Toy Story. Banger. That's a good one. Get ready for this one. You'll Be in My Heart from Tarzan.
Anything Phil Collins? Banger.
Yeah. So now we're crying at the fireworks show. Got it. Proud Corazon, which is from Coco. I probably mispronounced that. If we have Melly from Mexico here, hopefully she can correct that pronunciation as well. And then we also have A Friend Like Me from Aladdin. Banger. Great show, or great song. So Close from Enchanted. You probably know that one.
Oh,
that one made
do
the
I know
cut.
that?
That one made the cut.
I appreciate when Enchanted gets love because it doesn't get any love. I'm in. I'm so in.
Well, if it doesn't get any better than this, we're still going. We got 3 more that are at least confirmed. When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2.
Oh,
dude, if you've heard that song, we're crying. We're crying at Epcot right now.
Right.
Remember Me from Coco. The hits keep coming, dude. Disney's just got the hits. And then to top it off, we have Into the Unknown from Frozen 2. And that as a finisher, at least I'm alluding that it might be a finisher. It's the last on the list. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be the classic quote to finish it. But if this is the finale, Into the Unknown, chills. You're gonna get chills all the way up and down the arm. And then you're gonna be wiping your face from You'll Be in My Heart and When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2. And you're gonna have chills. You're gonna leave this fireworks show just absolutely a different person, it sounds like, just from the soundtrack alone.
Wow. They really know. And that's the thing. You see, somebody made this set list and they knew how to make a Disney fireworks show. And it's simple. Simple.
Yep. And I think we had talked about this a couple episodes ago. The first draft of this actually got declined. So the composer or the producer submitted it and they were like, oh, actually, can you go back to the drawing board and redo this? And so for them to now come back with this, sounds like they've listened to our episode, confirms that a Disney mole is in here, and we will see what happens next.
Yes.
Julie Sheplock. That's right. That playlist. I know it's going to be absolutely insane. We're going to be crying together watching that. So that is for the
Yes.
Luminous, the Symphony of Us soundtrack coming to Epcot's Firework show. Cannot wait for that one.
Looking forward to it.
The last news story that we want to talk about is something that I wish I never even had to talk about, because it's something that I didn't think would ever be an issue. And that is that guests have been caught defecating in queues that are too long at Walt Disney World. And I wish that I was lying about this, but this is happening. So here's a quick glance. I'm going to show you guys. Here's what we're looking at. Guests still pooping. I like still in the headline, as if it's like an ongoing issue that they've been like told about before. They're like, hey, don't do that.
Gosh.
And they're like, well, we're still gonna. Guess still somehow pooping in queues for Avatar Flight of Passage, The Rise of the Resistance, and the Indiana Jones Adventure. Dude, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do. It's almost like an immature topic, so I don't even want to talk about it too long. But I cannot believe that this is happening, and I thought that this was like a fake, what's it called, satire type of article.
Yeah.
But sure enough, if you Google it, dude, it's everywhere. It is everywhere. People are confirming it. Cast members are confirming it. I cannot believe that this is a thing. And it's to the point where some of the rides actually have like midway bathrooms now.
Yeah.
So that is out of control, that headline. That is something that we call, or from our one segment, We're All Mad Here, which is where we talk about ridiculous things that guests do in the park. And that is certainly one of them. It should be a rule of thumb, and I can't believe I have to say it. Don't poop in line.
Yeah.
It's for
Leave the line.
a ride.
Leave the line.
Yeah. Leave the line and get back in line, please. It's just a ride, and it doesn't matter. So that is just something that is just absolutely outrageous, something that is going on recently, and I don't know how Disney is going to address that. That is just a job. It must stink to have that job.
Dude, what are you doing if the person in front of you just unleashes?
Unleashes. Probably, I don't know, calling for a cast member. Like you're playing heads up with your family, and it's like, I don't know, Ellen DeGeneres, and then you hear somebody like behind you, just coming behind you, and you're like, what? You're like, excuse me, what was that? It's probably, you know what it is, and I should have read the article a little further. It's probably people's kids that they're like, oh, like I got to go to the bathroom. And the parents are like, we're not leaving. We've been in line for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then the kid's like, no, but like I really got to go. And then all of a sudden, you're stepping over something on your way to the ride.
Wild.
I just can't believe it. And even as a parent, you have to take your kid out of line. You have to forfeit the ride.
Yeah.
Julie, could you imagine cast members cleaning that up? Yeah, they don't deserve that. They don't get paid enough for that. Nobody really does, honestly. There should be punishment for that if there isn't already. And how is that not on camera? How is that not captured? And how is that not an instant ban? It should be an instant ban from Disney to even think about pulling that off. So that's a great point, Julie. Imagine the cast member getting called to come to Flight of Passage's line and clean that up. That is just absolutely appalling and
that's
unforgivable.
Horrible.
Honestly, unforgivable. That deserves more than a cast member compliment in the app. That must be like their internal reward system, or like way to kind of, highlight your good coworkers. And yeah, could you imagine? Yeah, Rye was a great team player today. He went in there with a shovel and 3 layers of gloves on. Shovel, like it's the elephant safari or something.
Yeah, it's horrible.
That is absolutely insane. But nonetheless, people don't do that. Just a quick little tip. Don't do that.
Oh my
Lastly,
gosh.
jumping into a game here, we're gonna have some fun. This is now time for the A Dose of Magic Disney
Ooh.
Jeopardy. So we are going to play some Disney Jeopardy games. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to go to a website called Jeopardy Labs so that it's a third-party site. This is not something that I created. This is not something that Brett created, so that we don't know each other's, answers and can't cheat or anything. So here we go. We're going to pick something. The dates are right here. And so let's pick out something that's like more recent. So this is 2023. And the categories are Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Random. Let's do that one.
Let's do it.
Play. We're gonna do 2 teams, you and me, and we're
Okay.
gonna make this full screen. So
Love
let's
it.
go. Which one are you looking at here?
We're gonna do
You go
Hollywood.
first.
Yeah, Hollywood Studios for 2.
All right, we'll put these in 100 categories. 200.
200.
What year was Toy Story Land opened?
Ooh,
It's a good question.
is a good question. 2017. Is that too long?
2017 is his answer. Let's see.
2018.
18. That is a
Ooh.
I cannot award any points for that. I won't deduct
Understood.
points, but I will not award them if we get it wrong.
Okay.
All right. I am up next, and actually, I'll give it an extra second as well, so that the chat has a chance to jump in here if they think they know it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do Magic Kingdom for 300. We'll see how this looks.
Feeling confident.
About how many people visit Magic Kingdom each day. We have definitely covered this on past episodes and past shows. So I should know this, but I really only learned it for our quick trivia episodes. So each day in Magic Kingdom, I'm going to guess that this is, I'm probably going to be way off. Each day,
Yeah.
not all of Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom, probably, I don't even know what their capacity is off the top of my head. Probably, I'm going to say 15,000. That's probably way too high.
I was gonna say
But we'll see.
low.
You think it's low per day?
I don't know.
Let's
I
see.
have no concept of like.
Oh, that
He was low.
I was a little low. The answer is 57,000 people per day going through Magic Kingdom. I don't know about that. I'm gonna need to see a little source on that one. Not sure about that, but we
Seems
are
fake.
0 for 2 with the questions. Why don't you pick another one?
I will do Animal Kingdom for 2. I'm gonna stick with my 200s.
All right. What show is hidden inside of the Tree of Life? Do you think that you have a clue about this one?
Yes.
Will this be
That
the
will
first point
be-
to board?
Yeah, go ahead and hit the plus twice. This will be It's Tough to Be a Bug.
I'll make this one you. All right. Is it correct? It is. It's tough to be a bug. I'll make this one me.
Rip.
All right. Brett breaks the ice,
Sorry.
gets on the board.
Jessica
First.
said, tough to be a bug. Rip. Which is true. Becoming a Zootopia show.
That is correct. So this will soon be an outdated Jeopardy format template here. It's going to be a sad day. We do like It's Tough to Be a Bug, but you know what? We just trashed a little bit on the Muppets and, calling that one an old one. And unfortunately, Tough to Be a Bug is had its run its course too. So it's time for something new. But I do love that ride. It's nice.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go back to random trivia for 100.
Okay.
What park is the largest? I feel like this is actually a trick question too, because you might think about like the park itself, but from like a footprint standpoint, like do you consider the safari and like all the acreage in that part of Animal Kingdom? I don't know. I really don't know.
I would.
You would?
Yeah. I mean,
Is it-
it's an attraction. It's part of an attraction.
Yeah, I guess so. And then there's like a lot of back animal care that happens behind the scenes. Jessica saying Animal Kingdom as well. I don't know. I feel like my gut is saying Animal Kingdom, but Epcot is up there as well. And Hollywood Studios feels big when you're in it. Like, it feels like to get from one end of Hollywood to the other feels far. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let's see. I'm going to say Animal Kingdom. I'm going to go with Jessica's answer. Oh, and Animal
Animal
Kingdom.
Kingdom.
Sure enough. All right. Give me that $100 or 100-point question, and I'm chiseling away. Brett, pick your next
I
one.
love it. I will bust open the Epcot gates and I will do 300 for Epcot.
All right. 300 for Epcot. Let's see how we do.
Oh,
How many countries, Brett, are in Epcot?
I think we literally just did this episode like maybe like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I don't remember.
Think of the map. Think of our touring. We've definitely drank around it. We have Julie guessing maybe 11. Does that come to mind? Does that sound okay?
Sounds low.
Julie quickly changing her answer to 12. Thinks that it's 12. What do you think?
I think it's 13.
13. Okay. Brett is going to lock in with 13. Let's see.
11.
Julie's first guess was correct. Claps all around to Julie for kind of guessing that, but also deduction for changing it to 12. The rule of thumb in life, always go with your gut. So cannot give the point there to Brett for that one. It is my turn. I kind of like the random, so we're going to go over to random to 400 here.
Oh.
What ride has the longest duration at Walt Disney World non-safari? I like the specification of non-safari because that can get a traffic jam a little bit. If a giraffe is crossing or some animal with a horn, which I can't think of right now, I'm thinking that the longest duration of ride, and this was, again, a recent one, 2023. We'll see. I'm going to guess if it's in this one, I'm going to say Rise of the Resistance as the longest ride through of a ride. Do you feel like that's a good one?
I do, but I'm not sure it's the correct answer. Somebody just posted in the chat. A bunch of people.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of guesses coming in here. It's a small world with the snail. That's funny. We have Rise of the Resistance. Good guess. The Garden one, which she is referring to living with the land at Epcot. That's a great one. I'm still going to stick with my Rise of the Resistance. I think that is the new longest one. Test Track is allegedly the answer. We might need to go to the replay.
We're gonna go to New York right now for this one.
Yeah, we might need to call New York real quick and see if that is correct, because that seems like it's incorrect. But if you think about all the testing and all that you need to do with the ride, and then the shoot off at the end, I don't know. I don't know if I'd consider that. So that's an interesting one. I guess I cannot get myself credit there. And Jess, exactly. So where do you consider like the beginning of a ride? Do you consider the pre-show the beginning? Do you consider any of the intro, or do you consider any of the outro? Like, where does the beginning actually start? Like the stretching room in Haunted Mansion? That's a great question.
That is a really good point. So after review, you're going to get a ton of different answers, because it kind of goes to what Jessica just said. Like, it depends on where people start it. Carousel of Progress is up there.
Okay, that is quite a long one.
It is quite a long one. Carousel of Progress again. I'm seeing a lot of Carousel of Progress.
Okay.
So maybe Carousel of Progress.
All right, we'll override it, and I was still wrong regardless, so it does not matter. That was not on my radar anyway. So go ahead and pick your next one, Brett.
I will do Animal Kingdom for 4.
Animal for 4. Let's see it. What attraction was based off the best-selling video ever? That is the worst written question I think I've ever seen. Best attraction based off of best-selling video ever?
So this seems unfair. Definitely unfair.
I think the person who created this like had a stroke mid-sentence and then was like, yeah, just publish it anyway. We'll just go.
I'm gonna say Flight of Passage. That it's going off the best-selling movie ever.
Oh, yes. I think you're right, actually. This is actually awesome. Rye is guessing Festival of the Lion King, which is also a very, very great guess based off the movie, which is incredibly,
Mm.
incredibly famous. Yes. Is it the highest grossing? Maybe Festival of the Lion King? That's a great, great guess, guys. But I think Brett might be right with it, with Avatar being the highest grossing film ever. So let's see. Oh, Festival of the Lion King is correct.
See ya.
That is awesome. I cannot give Brett any points for that because I was on your side, Brett, with Flight of Passage, but everyone else in the chat was correct, and they would be getting points
Wow.
for this one. Festival of the Lion King, really? It makes sense. It makes sense.
It does. We really should have added a third team and done the chat as a team.
Yeah, actually, we should have. That would have been awesome. We'll do that next time. Julie said, "Did that guy Ryan make the Jeopardy?" How did you know that, Ryan? How did you know that? That's funny. All right, well, let's each pick one more. I'm
Okay.
gonna go for Magic Kingdom for 5. How many lands are there in Magic Kingdom? Name them. So demanding. Such a demand.
Just forces you to like
Yep,
do
absolutely
way more
held
trivia.
hostage when he was making this. Make sure that you can name them. I'm going to say, I can't believe the grammar in this. Name them. How many lands? Let's think of the aerial view, right? Because you have Tomorrow, you have New Fantasy, you have Liberty, you have Frontier, you have Adventure. It's just weird because then you start getting like, do you consider the hub? Probably not, right? Like the hub and the main street is not considered a quote
Yeah, I
unquote
wouldn't
land by itself.
consider that.
The other question I have is like, is the Storybook Circus area considered? Probably not, but who knows? Because whoever's creating this is pretty insistent on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I think I got to 6 on that. We're gonna say 6 lands. Let's see, 6.
There you
And
go.
they explained it. Main Street. Oh, so they did consider Main Street. I don't know. I don't know about that. Adventureland, Frontierland, Liberty Square, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. That is very interesting. I guess I was right.
Does it say Fantasyland?
It does say Fantasyland.
Okay.
It should say technically, I guess, New Fantasyland.
New Fantasyland.
Ryan was guessing 4. Jess was saying 6. And so interesting.
Very interesting.
I got that right. So that's a big, big win for me to put me up there. Brett, your last one.
I'm gonna go Hollywood. Wait, is Random 5 still available?
It is, yes.
Let's do it for the win.
Okay, Random 5, here it is. Oh, that's a good point. Going back to quick rye. 4 that actually say land. That's a good point. It's a very, very good point. That's the like fine print in the question there. I like it. Years to stay in every hotel room on Disney property. How many years? I guess we have to infer the question. Years to stay in every hotel in Disney property. We actually did, I think.
In every hotel room.
In every hotel room. Wow. Okay. That's even a bigger one than I was thinking. Good luck.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's unfair.
This is so specific. And this person, I guarantee, just made up an answer. Didn't even look it up.
Didn't even look it up. So
Brett's doing math right now. Brett's doing math.
I'm doing math. I'm trying to like estimate something.
Brett's got a piece of paper and a pencil right now.
Yeah. Can you put this on the
Does that include Good Neighbors as well? Good question. Total rooms of Disney divided by 365, right? So
as if that's a known number. Why did Julie say that? As if like I should know that number off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, you don't notice the total room.
You don't know, just the total rooms divided by 365.
So the question is, how many hotel rooms are there on property? Right. That's the first question. This is actually like a 3-part question. how many hotels are currently on property that are open? Because some were closed, some are back open, some were
Yeah.
obviously built probably since this was created. Uh, how many rooms are there in each each thing? And then how long would that take you to get there?
Rooms
And you
divided by
can't forget the leap year.
All right. So I'm gonna estimate. Here's my thought process, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is accurate or not. I'm gonna average this. I'm gonna say there's
Okay.
about 1,500 rooms at each property.
Okay.
So 1,500 divided by 365. That's about 4 years to do one resort. And I think
No
there's
way. That seems so
30.
crazy.
I
You're
think
probably
there's
right. It just seems crazy.
37 resorts and DVCs. I'm gonna say it's about 150 years.
I came here to talk Disney and not do maths. That's hilarious. 150 years? Is that the final answer?
I don't
And
even
yes, they
know.
are building more and more. Exactly right at Poly as we speak. As we speak. So 150 years is Brett's answer. Let's see. Oh,
Okay.
not again. This is not proven. We don't know what what data this person is using, but this is 68 years apparently. It's gonna take.
I
So
could do it in my lifetime.
I would like to see the math on that one. That was hilarious. I think that is a
That's
great,
funny.
great point to stop it for this episode. That was a lot of fun. Definitely something that we would look into doing again next time. We had just a blast doing that and talking about all the recent news, hearing about Brett's trip to Disneyland. I mean, there was a lot of good things and a lot of disgusting things going on in the Disney
Yeah.
world lately. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for coming and interacting. It was a lot of fun, and you guys are making us crack up in the chat with all of your guesses and your answers. Rye, you are not slick. We know that you created that Jeopardy. So nice try, but thank you for trying. For thank you for
Gotcha.
interacting as well. Brett, anything else to say to close this one out?
I got nothing. You did great. Thank you all for tuning in live. And again, if you're listening after we've recorded this live, be sure to check us out on YouTube to check out everything visual that we showed here on this episode. But if you're listening to us on whatever podcast platform you listen on, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, please be sure to leave us a review. It really helps us and it's completely free. So we appreciate all of you, and we will catch you next episode.
Yes, and thank you, Jessica. This feels like a fun Zoom call on with other Disney adults. This is fun. Thank you. We really appreciate that. That's an awesome comment.
That's cool.
Honestly, it's what we're going for. We wanted to just have a place for Disney fans to come together, chat some Disney, laugh a little bit, and do it each week. So thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
See ya.